What's Working by Monday.com.
Hi, I'm Yadin Katz, and this is What's Working, Monday.com's podcast about what being a manager is all about. Us managers facing clients and customers constantly ask ourselves, what is the best way to market our company, our product, get to bigger crowds, and retain it? But a successful marketing campaign in 2023 needs to be a clever one. It needs to connect the dots. It needs data. Today, we are speaking with Naor Man, founder and CEO of ActiveTrail, a marketing automation company about, marketing automation, one of the most up-to-date tools for marketing today. We'll try to understand how it works, why every manager, even those with no technological background whatsoever, need to know its benefits, and why sometimes even a small email can help you galvanize your users into action. Hi, Naor.
Hey, hi, Edin.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
There's a lot of traffic outside. It's raining.
Oh my God, I was stuck for I don't know how much time. It was amazing that I got here.
Thank you for making the effort and being here with us. I'm going to start off with an annoying question. Is marketing automation just a fancy name for email campaigns?
No. The short answer is no. The longer answer is that marketing automation is not about just campaigns. It's about messaging, and it's about relationships with our customers. So marketing automation is really about how we automate the tasks of a marketing department. And, we'll do email and SMS and WhatsApp and push and social media, and we publish surveys and landing pages, etc. So it's a bunch of stuff that we do. And marketing automation just connects the dots and puts everything together in one piece to create a marketing, a customer journey for our customers.
Perfect. And I think you mentioned relationships with your customers. We're talking about technology here and all that lingo. We'll get to that later because we need to understand the context. But on this podcast, we like to talk about the management approach and people and understand that deeper because we're trying to connect to people who are not necessarily in high tech or startups, etc., and other managers. So let's start off with your personal background. I think you've got a really interesting tale of how you begun in your personal journey on the professional level.
Well, yes, I actually started quite early in the internet in the mid '90s or something.
Wow.
Like that. So back then when it was a modem.
Well, and MIRC. Right?
That
before ICQ.
Well, it kind of it felt like I knew the people on the internet by name. So, it was the beginning. And my partner, George Jacobson, and I started a company with an idea to create just websites. There were not enough websites on the internet. And we said, let's create some websites. We were here in Tel Aviv, and our first website was Globes, was the biggest economic newspaper back then. So we created that and just went on. And we, later on, we founded another company, created Ynet in Israel, which is, the biggest portal in Israel, and a bunch of different projects. We ended up selling that company 3 years ago, and into marketing automation, which is what I do now. We entered when we're managing real commerce. And two entrepreneurs came into my office and said, we created an email marketing platform. And we said, well, that's really interesting. We knew nothing about it.
That was back in the 90s?
No, that was in 2004, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah. So
still early, somewhat early, before social media. It's worth to mention.
Yep.
For Facebook.
Yeah, and so they came in and said email marketing is an interesting thing, and they had a startup, and it wasn't really successful. So we started working with them, and at the end of the day, we decided to buy that company. And it was called My Marketing back then, and we changed the name to ActiveTrail, and we took it from there. So ActiveTrail actually came into marketing automation through email marketing. So we came from there, and it's just an evolution that happened with time and with technology.
Oh. Was marketing automation, did it exist in the 90s, or you noticed the trend line beginning early 2000s?
No, in the 90s it was just a start, and everything was like HTML. It was really simple stuff. And then sometime there, database-driven content began. So it was content dynamically created from the database. So it was just a start. No, there was absolutely no marketing automation. There was hardly any marketing. It was just banners.
So you're talking about marketing automation and the customer journey. Can you elaborate on that? Give us a little bit more.
So a customer journey is about meeting the customer in each point of the cycle where he's at. Before marketing automation, we used to try to sell and then maybe upsell. Today, there's a better understanding that a customer goes through a life cycle. He is first prospecting and discovering, and then he's researching, and then he may buy. And then he's engaging customer service, and then he is either satisfied or not satisfied, and we know that with surveys. And then we move on to creating an ambassador out of that buyer, and then we can upsell, and then it goes on and on and on. And the cycle is cyclic. So a customer could leave one funnel of the customer journey and go to another funnel of a customer journey, depending where he is in the life cycle. So marketing automation is about understanding where a customer is and creating the right content, the right messaging at the right time.
Could you give an example, a specific example
of how this is done?
Yeah, I browse the web, I see something, I see a banner, I click on it. Then what happens next?
Let's say we're a marketing agency and we're worldwide and we sell worldwide, etc. So we publish content on the internet. So that's the first thing that marketing automation will do, is it'll help you publish. Okay, so you could create content. You can automate when that content goes live where in social media, so you can manage that part. That's the first part. Then the customer will click on a certain content and come to our website. Then what we need to do, because the customer is anonymous at that point. Then what we need to do is to track that customer and see what he's clicking through and what he's interested in. So that's done usually technically with a pixel, right? That generates data back to the marketing automation platform. So now we know this anonymous person is, and we're a travel agency, so now we know that he's looking at family destinations, let's say, okay? So we have a data, we just don't know who he is. So our next step in the automation is, let's try to get the email or the phone number of that person to move them from being anonymous to being something somebody we can message with. So then we could create a club and say, okay, if you sign up to this club, we'll send you cheap flights, exclusive deals, unique destinations, stuff that people like, right? So once he signs up, then we have an email and we can start messaging and go through the funnel. Okay, so let's say a day later, because I know that, when he was anonymous, because I know that back then he was looking at family destination, this person wants to buy family destination, or is more likely to buy, a family destination. So I can shoot out an email from one of the categories, one of them being family destinations. So I can automate an email with deals for family destinations. He's more likely to click on that and even buy, right? So then that person can go into the website, see my email, go into the website and browse through a family destination, even look at the details and maybe start the process of buying, a deal. If he leaves in the middle, then I can automate like an abandoned cart email or a reminder email, come back and finish off, buy this deal, it's amazing, etc. Okay, so that would be an abandoned cart. And if the deal is closed, then the clock starts to tick to the flight. Right? So the countdown begins. So the flight is like in 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks I can send a series of emails saying, first of all, I can sell insurance, I can sell car rentals, I can sell upgrades in the hotel that he chose. So I can sell quite a lot in those 2 weeks. And in the day of the flight, or 2 days before the flight, I can send him a flight reminder with details, things that he should prepare, etc. So that's like, it's selling, but it's also managing a relationship.
I see.
right? And and then when that person will come back home, I can send a survey.
You can continue the conversation and the relationship with him learn more from that.
Exactly. For example, by sending a survey and automating the score. So I would say if the score is high, let's ask him to give us feedback in social media, etc. If the score is low, let's have customer service talk to this person and maybe fix things. So the relationship continues, and it's like a funnel of communication.
It gives you an ecosystem to run and manage your relationships with your customer. But I want to emphasize one thing: this is not all enterprise or Silicon Valley jargon. This is relevant to SMBs, to small and medium businesses. Whether you're running a flower shop and you want to know how to manage your database, or whether you're in HR in a medium-sized company. These tools today are really, really effective. But still, despite what you're saying, it does sound a bit complicated. A good friend of mine was just named CEO of a company, which is it's a traditional company. It's not a tech company. And now he comes in. He's got marketing skills, but the whole digital aspect of it is beyond him. A person like that with no digital knowledge, can they manage these modern day tools to kind of control the digital realm, the digital sphere that a company has? Is it possible?
I think it's not just possible; it's necessary. So more and more, these platforms are becoming user-friendly, with less need for IT guys, for tech people, etc. And the big companies or the big corporations were the first always to adopt that kind of technology because it was complicated, because it was kind of expensive. But the technology is becoming less expensive and less complicated. So absolutely, small businesses. I think marketing automation is even more important for a small business than a large business.
Yeah.
For the simple reason that when you run a small business, you don't have a marketing department. And you don't have all these guys running around writing content and email, etc. So you can...
you got to do those things on your own.
You have to, but you can automate. And if you invest in just creating one solid journey or a couple of solid journeys, there's a marketing department working for you now. And you can be a one-person business. And it will, from the outside, you'll look like a big company, and you look like you're sending out stuff. And when it's my birthday, and you're sending out emails, and run me through the funnel. And it looks like there's a lot of people working in the background, but there aren't. And that's what automation is about. So I think for small businesses, even more than larger businesses, automation is a must.
Do you have any examples of how the data that I can learn from these processes can improve my management style or things you've encountered in the past?
Yeah. So one of the things that marketing automation brings to the table is the ability to collect data and the ability to understand data. So typically, organizations worldwide collected a lot of data. That's from the start of the internet, people were collecting data. The problem is that they collected data, and it became an explosion of data in your legacy systems. Some is in the CRM, some is in the ERP, some is in all these systems that we wrote. But it doesn't come together, and it doesn't become something that a manager can look at. So the CRM people understand the CRM data, but the ERP people understand only the ERP data, et cetera. It just doesn't come together, and it's not something a manager can build on. What the modern platforms are doing, the marketing automation platforms, is they integrate into all of these systems that feed data from either the online, or it could be the store, bricks and mortar store. And all of this data comes together into the marketing automation to create, the journeys. But the manager can set, specific KPIs for how he's doing, and seeing that data, feed back to him in dashboards, and you can really understand the data in your organization and the data coming from your customers. Yeah. So I think data is the key of modern marketing automation. And, if you add on top of data some machine learning and some AI, the sky's the limit. So I think managers are both smarter today because they see more data that's understandable to them, that's usable, that's actionable on one hand. And on the other hand, if you add some machine learning, now that data, you can do wonders with that data.
Yeah, and it keeps growing and developing. And the company you run started off mostly with emails, and it developed to a wider aspect of marketing automation.
Yep.
The effect you see from your customers on their management abilities, because eventually when you have a lot of tools, you can improve the way you manage and the way you work with people, the relationships. What are the major differences you can notice, you can spot from your customers today and the way they work with elaborated tools as opposed to how they worked in the past when it was more limited?
Yep. So looking at our statistics in the system, you may be a bit surprised to learn that most customers don't do marketing automation. So most customers are still just sending out stuff, just sending out emails, just doing push, or, they're just using the tools. They're not putting it all together.
Yeah.
So I'd say about maybe 20% of the customers are actually building those journeys and building on data. So typically that would be the larger companies. Yeah. And now, it's going down to smaller and smaller businesses. But typically, I think most businesses are not yet using marketing automation. And so the evolution has not reached most of the businesses.
Yeah.
But I think, maybe in 2023, it's going to change big time, specifically because of the economy, because of the way things are going. People want more return on investment, a higher return on investment. They're less willing to spend and not get a return.
Yeah.
So as a return on investment becomes a focus, I think marketing automation is going to be, a big step in that direction.
Plus AI. I
Absolutely.
see people now doing employees' feedbacks on AI, not here, not in this company, but from friends, from other people. People are using it on a daily basis. Yeah. So it feels like we're at a point where automation of everything is becoming really big. But you're saying, okay, so not the majority is not yet using it. And those who are, do you see significant differences? Are they telling you, I'm doing things differently now, I have more time for my people to lead my teams, to communicate with my customers better, I get better feedbacks? What do you guys hear from people who are implementing the full capacity of these tools?
Yeah, I actually never heard someone say our team has more time now. That's like it never happens.
Time is never. No,
it never happens. Yeah. They can do more, but they never have more time. So yes, marketing teams can now do much more because much of the stuff that they used to do manually is now automated. So absolutely yes. I think managers are now appreciating, first of all, the uplift in sales that they see through marketing automation, and it could be really something you can feel in the bottom line. It uplifts revenue and it becomes profits at the end of the day. That's one thing. And the second thing is that marketers can now focus on different things. For example, video is a big thing, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of production work, and just creating more content faster. Is what companies have to do now. So you really want to automate all these other things so that you can focus and shift management attention and shift budgets into the other new stuff that's coming in. Mm-hmm. So marketing automation is there to automate the stuff, and then free up your resources to do the new stuff as well.
So the quality of your work also improves with these types of tools?
Absolutely. The quality of work, the customer satisfaction, it works.
Can you think of a good example of a solid story that?
Well, in general, I think marketing automation is like a kept secret from most of businesses. Mm-hmm. I think. If I could speak to a manager and tell them, listen, whatever your sales are, you can probably do 10% more, 20% more, 30% more by investing a small investment. So I look at managers and I say, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. Now you mentioned that people are not taking a good enough advantage of marketing automations. I feel like a lot of people are afraid, specifically small and medium businesses who can benefit from this the most. People are scared. I mean, start automating processes. It's too digital. It's too techy for me. I might get too invested, and I just want to run my business. What would you say to people like that? I mean, how would you get people to understand the importance of these tools out there?
Well, I can't stress enough how important this is. So it's extremely important, but I can fully understand people that are not tech savvy and how they fear going into something like this. So the big difference between small businesses and big businesses, I would say mainly is integration of data. So small businesses have less data. So it's less complicated for them. So when they go into the system, into ActiveTrail, for example, it's pure drag and drop. So they can, drag and drop steps, and then you've worked with the system in the past, right? Yeah. So to create an email, it's also just drag and drop, upload an image, write your text, design, do that kind of stuff. And then in the automation, it's about dragging steps and timing them and saying, okay, this comes 2 days later, this comes 3 days. It's really friendly.
Yeah.
And they could watch webinars, they could learn from professionals in the market. There's tons of videos, there's a ton of learning stuff. And it's not about writing code; it's codeless.
Yeah.
So I think small businesses can really use marketing automation, and it's a shame that they don't.
Yeah, but of course the user interface is great. We see that with Monday here as well. I think it's mostly a mindset shift that you understand that now you have a new tool. Now you're brushing your teeth in the morning every day. Now you have to add something else to that ritual, to that habit. How do you get people to start working differently, implement something new into their life? The technical aspects are very clear to me. I know that it's helpful.
Right. So if you know it's helpful, now it's about whether I can hire somebody to do it for me or I have to learn it myself. So usually most business owners or business managers of small business are really busy. You said a flower shop. That person running the flower shop is, customers coming into the shop, coming out. There's flowers coming in. I have to do my business. So I have to find my time at night to actually do this, because the competition just, gets higher and higher, and it's fierce in the market. So if you want to stand out from the crowd as a small business, I would go this way. I would choose marketing automation to add to what I do. And, I could beat the competition this way.
Yeah.
So if you just want to sell flowers the way you sold flowers, that's fine. But you may disappear with time.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a must.
Yeah, I see. Okay, so we talked about outward communication and processes that are relevant for my customers. Can this also benefit and improve internal processes within a company, all these marketing automations tools?
Absolutely. First of all, marketing automation connects the different departments. So departments in most larger companies used to be like silos. They don't speak very much with each other. They're too busy to work with each other, and it's really difficult to put things together. What marketing automation does, through looking at the customer's life cycle, is that the customer meets different departments. So it starts with the marketing department, then it's the salespeople, right? So the marketing, once a customer comes into our website, does this and that, we can alert the salespeople. Now marketing is connected with sales, right? And after the salespeople sell, then it's another department coming in, that's customer service, right? So we want to make sure, for example, that the customer is using the product, that he is enjoying the product, and that his customer service feedback is good, etc. So marketing automation connects the departments within a company. Yes.
Great. So one of the things you talked about was starting off small, kind of experiencing with the tools, learning them, and it kind of connects to your management style. A little bird told me that your management style lets your employees use trial and error, make mistakes, fail, go out there, try. If it doesn't work, try again. Could you elaborate on that approach, that philosophy of yours as a manager?
Yeah, first of all, I love it when people make mistakes because they're learning from mistakes. And, easier said than done. But when you manage a company and somebody makes a mistake, you really have to breathe and say, okay, he's doing a lot, so he's also making mistakes. If he wasn't doing so much, maybe he wouldn't make mistakes. But I want him doing as much as possible. So mistakes are there. They're going to happen. And it's fine to make mistakes. Some mistakes are expensive or really terrible, but still, if someone is learning and evolving from making mistakes, it's management-wise, I think that's perfect. And if I take it to marketing automation and starting small, and then growing from there, the thing is that marketing automation is a fragmented process. So you can actually make small mistakes within your journey. Let's say something is not converting or something is not working well. And you see, in the data that step is not working very well. You can change it. So you say you made a huge mistake. It doesn't matter. You can make it better and you can change it. And I think that approach of first of all, being ready to make a mistake is a good start because everything is fixable. Yeah. So try new stuff. Don't be afraid to try new stuff and make mistakes and then grow from that.
Yeah. I totally agree that this is not a cliche. We're working that way here as well. We're out there. This podcast is out there. We still don't know where this will go, but we're trying. We're getting a full support of the management on this front, and I really think that these are the ways to go, and that's what we're trying to learn from managers as much as we can. Get good tips from good, successful managers about these things. Another tip, something you want our listeners to know before we wrap it up, because we're getting real close to the end of our interview.
First of all, really, a tip, okay, a rule of thumb for me is start small, and then you can dream as big as you want and create a roadmap or a vision that's huge. But don't go huge at the beginning. Yeah. I've seen so many projects fail. Yeah. In not just marketing automation, but in a lot of stuff, a lot of IT stuff, a lot of technology stuff. When you design something that's really big, you're posing yourself for a big failure. Yeah. So don't create a huge project. Start small and build up. Even if you're a large company, don't start big. Start small, baby steps, and as you go into it.
I love that tip. When I was starting to play guitar when I was 13, my dad said, I'm not going to buy you a Les Paul. I'm going to start off with something cheap. You'll build your way up to it. And then you appreciate once you know the ins and outs.
I'm a drummer. I started with a really crappy set, a kit, and I'm still crap.
Naor Man, this was super, super interesting. Thank you so much for being here today. We're wrapping it up. Before we go, anything else you want to add to our listeners?
So thank you for having me. And I would love to continue the conversation about marketing automation or about management. I'd love to get emails if you're interested to continue this conversation and talk about it. My email is naor@activetrail.net. Shoot me an email and let's talk.
Perfect. We'll add that to our info, to the bio, and hopefully listeners will get in touch. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us on What's Working, and we'll see you again on our next episode.